Vertically integrated.
Vertically integrated.
Light it up, take a puff, let the good times roll. Kevin and Kerr got a story to unfold. Talking cigars, yeah, we know what's right. From the classics to the bold, it's Monday night. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. Legends and makers, they stop on by, sharing the secrets, the craft, the why. From the rollers to the blenders, they tell their tales. Pair it up with spirits, let the smoothness sail. Wrapper, binder, alright. Flavor notes hit just right. Retro hail, take it slow. Only I tap that cigar show. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. So cut it, toast it, take that draw. Kick back, relax, break out the humidor. If you love cigars, well now you know. It's the I Tap That Cigar Show.
Man, that song just gets me in the mood.
A good one.
So, what's that? Yeah, I'm good. That was Jessica came in just right as the intro stopped. She says hello, everybody. So, welcome to
Hey, Jess.
she already left. Well, I got to change our background. Let's see. I Tap That Cigar Show, not Puff and Ponder. Kerr, isn't it your job? I don't know.
Listen, whenever I try and do something, I'm always battling against you. Trying to
it is. You're always battling. They changed our. Oh, there's our background. There we go. That's a lot better. So it's the I Tap That Cigar Show. I'm Kevin. Whatever. Brandon Apostate, Kendrick Apostate.
What's up?
Viajante, Stogie Road, Ryan Miller, Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. I just got home. I just scarfed a couple of frozen burritos, and that's it.
It's 7:02 Eastern. I think the over under is 8 o'clock when you make your removal.
Yeah,
when those burritos kick in. I'm giving it an hour. I'm giving an hour of brewing.
That's it. I need a cigar. What's everybody else smoking tonight?
I have the same thing Brandon's smoking, so I'll let him explain it better than me.
Rocking the Sword of Laban, right?
The sword? Nice.
The Sword.
Nice.
I'm smoking an unreleased Apostate blend that was rolled, I think, in December. Seeing how it's developing, seeing if it's ready, seeing, just testing some shit out.
Oh, so when you say like unreleased, that like a future unreleased, or just not like an unreleased, like something you guys, one of your samples that
Completely new blend that we haven't announced yet.
Oh, right on. Kerr, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking a mystery cigar.
Oh, right on. I've got the Apostate, the feathered serpent, the Candela.
I thought I had those.
And this like the little is this a Corona, like the small yeah,
Petite Corona, yeah.
the petite Corona. I mean, knock on wood, like this is the year of like, well, actually it has been for the past year of the petite Coronas. The cigars are getting smaller and smaller, and I'm loving this size, especially in this feathered serpent. So I've been preaching that the best Candela. I don't know how you guys did it. I don't know how you guys knocked everybody off that. off that ladder and just shimmied up there.
And oddly enough, Kevin, the only Candela recently that I've had that comes in a second behind that cigar is the one that we had when we were up in Kentucky.
Yeah, there's a shop in Louisville called Havana Jack's. Jack runs the place. His wife is a Cuban descent, and so she found some Cuban rollers, which I didn't know that Louisville had the second largest population of Cubans outside of Miami. So
also did not know that.
And they had a when Kevin and I went in our humidor, they were all rolled there at the location, and I heard him talking to Kevin, and I heard Candela, and then I heard another tobacco mentioned. What was he talking
the Mexican San? No, not the Mexican. He was talking about Nicotina Rustica.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with that tobacco?
Yes.
And Kevin and I grabbed a couple of cigars, and we sat back. We had some, we smoked them. We left. We had a Candela. And I was like, I got to tell you, Feather Serpent's still number one, but this cigar was surprisingly a fantastic Candela.
I
Blown away.
I've said this to you, Brandon, numerous times. We've talked. Kendrick, I don't know if I've specifically said this to you. Hands down, it crushes the Holy Lancer, which pre-Feathered Serpent, Holy Lancer's considered the holy one of the Candelas as far as the top one is concerned. And
I fully agree. Yeah, dude.
And you guys, just the grittiness that your wrapper looks like it's been through a fucking war. Like it looks like it fought to get to my humidor, and I need to smoke it. Like I've showed that wrapper to people, they'd be like, "Oh, I'll never smoke Candelas again. I don't like them. I've had this one, or I've had this one, or I've had this one." I'm like, "Yeah, but look at this one." I'm like, "This one just went 9 rounds with Tyson." Like, look at it, and it's still gonna knock you.
And it won.
And it won, right? Like,
oh my god!
Like it is by far the gnarliest, gruesomest looking Candela that just slaps every bit of your palate. Yeah. It's fantastic.
I'm not going to be as descriptive as Ryan. I think it's a very rustic looking Candela, and Kevin and I, we both are big fans of Candela, and that cigar just blew my socks off.
Well, thanks, guys.
100%.
Yeah, that wrapper is unique. That it's grown, sun grown from Corojo seed.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about the Candela?
But it's also a special wrapper that was just grown for you guys, correct? So like, it doesn't matter what other company out there, they're never going to actually touch that wrapper without your 2 approval. It would be my guess, right? Because it's more or less you guys. It's a proprietary.
Yeah, and I mean it's small yield anyway, right? So really, it's not really going to be a situation where there's enough of that wrapper for us to just be sharing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hochi dedicated a small portion of one of his farms to grow that wrapper for us, and I don't see that expanding.
No, because he didn't want to do it.
You want to keep that one on the grabs.
He didn't want to do it, but then he ended up building a curing barn for us.
I haven't gotten a straight answer from any manufacturers that do Candela. It's like, so it's under ferment. It's not a brand, or it's not a varietal. It's just the green tobacco. And
it's a process.
A process. Why haven't we seen? Yeah, why haven't we seen Connecticut Mexican San Andres? It starts off as green, just like everything else. I mean, you just have to, stop the process. And why can't we see that? Why don't we have more Candela? Do they not lend themselves? Or is it just too fast?
It could be a flavor, a flavor situation. We lucked out with the Corojo and where it was grown. It turned out to be a fantastic option. If you did the same thing with San Andres somewhere else, it may just not taste good. We haven't fucked with that yet, so I don't know.
I agree. I think it's got to do with because you know how Candela is very thin, and it's usually like some sort of Ecuadorian, sun.
Yeah, it's normally shade grown Connecticut.
It's shade grown Connecticut. It's just green, but you get some of that thicker, a little bit more gnarlier, Mexican San Andreas. I have to imagine that Candela profile is going to be extremely Candela, with something very thick and.
It probably would lock a lot more of that chlorophyll.
It would.
Into the
chlorophyll.
That's a lot of green.
Like chlorophyll.
Yeah, more like borophyll. So
I can't every time I hear chlorophyll.
Yeah,
You got a thicker leaf with more, essential oils in it. It might be harder to even do at all. Like maybe that leaf won't do it.
It'd be like rolling kale.
Yeah. Hey, don't rip on kale. It's Jessica's favorite snack.
But you don't smoke it, man.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, this is our post PCA show for everybody that is tuning in. And we have Kendrick. Kendrick never comes on these lives. We don't see him as often as I was telling Brandon the other day. It's good to see Kendrick out. We don't want Kendrick to turn into a Mike Rosales or a Mike Condor. If anybody knows those two people, the brains behind a couple of great cigar companies, but not a lot of people know the names. So at least Kendrick looks normal. Not like those other guys. They're kind of goofy looking. So at least he's camera ready. Kendrick, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
So where are you coming from? It looks like a nice library or office of some kind.
It's a fake background.
I'm in my office here at Beehive.
Oh, right on. So we didn't. We've talked to Brandon before. Brandon's done a lot of shows. We've got his background. So give us a little, a little background on yourself and before you got into before you started Beehive Cigars, and then just the Clip Notes version of your life story.
Sure. So I grew up Mormon, went on a Mormon mission to Scotland when I was 19, lived there for 2 years trying to convert people to Mormonism. Got home, kind of fell flat on my face, had a faith crisis, started playing the piano in a piano bar here in town. And I was doing the piano bar gig for a number of years, and I finally was like, you know what? Need to be doing something with my daytime here because I've got tons of free time, and business was always a side interest of mine. So that's how I got into the retail side of the cigar industry in 2009 with Beehive, and ran Beehive for 7 years or so, and then Brandon came in and then he was working for me here at the shop, and then the pandemic hit, and we were like, it'd be fun to blend our own cigars. And so we called Hochi up and asked him if we could come down to the factory and blend some cigars, and that's when Apostate was born. And here I am.
We've interviewed obviously hundreds of people on here, but we've heard that dozens and dozens of times, and it was the COVID, the COVID story. We've heard it multiple times of, I figured, let's blend a cigar, and it's just like, I couldn't have picked the worst possible time, and the best time, the worst, the worst and the best time. You really wanted to be selling cigars during COVID because that was I remember them good old days. We need another pandemic.
Well, he was doing that too.
That was nice because
Kendrick was double dipping.
Yeah,
they were double dipping.
We were rocking the retail side and conceiving Apostate all during that.
So here's a question. I know alcohol sales went up crazy amounts during COVID. Cigar sales went up crazy amount during COVID, but so much of Salt Lake is very religious orientation. Did did you guys see the uptick in either cigars, or did you notice like liquor uptick or anything like that? Like, did that happen in that area?
I can tell you that Beehive sales went up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we had to shut down the store. You know, we didn't let people in, but we were doing curbside service only.
Sure.
People were still buying fistfuls at a time all day long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people were buying more because they were stuck at home. You know, so instead, you got the guy who normally comes in for 4 or 5 cigars a week. He's now buying a box because he wants to smoke while he's working on his patio or whatever, and not make a dozen trips to Beehive to do the curbside thing. So everybody who was smoking smoked more. People who weren't smoking were like, I'm going to try smoking. So there was a lot of that. I think what trended nationally trended for us too.
See, I would have thought I just thought would have been more life as normal, like just because I know SLC is, like I said, probably 70% LDS, if not more.
Not anymore, dude. Not anymore. No,
so it's not.
Is really not very Mormon at all. The state as a whole, the last census indicated that the state of Utah is like 60% Mormon, but the active participation from members going to church every week is like 40%. It's not crazy. It's changed.
Really?
Wow. That's like
they're still the ones getting elected and writing all the laws. So it feels like.
Ryan, did you expect like the kindergarten classes now are completely like tripled because about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, everybody was bored and just doing nothing at home?
Well, I don't know. Like I figured you wouldn't have seen it's such a heavy I say not just religious, but religious governmented area. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
So much of the government is also LDS, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being that by any means. But I guess for me, I would have figured it would have been more life as usual than holy shit, we gotta get cigars and buy stuff like this just because, you know. Yeah. Of the area. I mean, is that a fair kind of thought from my side as an outside of?
I mean, from the outside, yes, that's the perception. But Salt Lake County specifically, very progressive, very non-religious, or at least not as religious, not as conservative. So there's a lot more, you know, a lot of bars, a lot of drinking, a lot of state-controlled liquor stores that did great during the pandemic.
That's awesome.
Now, I was reading something. Maybe I don't know if it was Salt Lake or not. Like, what are like the rules on drinking? Aren't there like specific rules on how much you can consume or how much you can order? Is it? It
depends. Yeah. At a restaurant, yes. You know, if you're at a bar, then not really. But if you're at a restaurant, then yeah, they will be a little more quick to cut you off, especially if you're like eating with your family or something.
Okay.
But the legal limit here is 0.05 instead of 0.08.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
So you essentially smell a beer and you're over.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The actual laws as it pertains to like drinking establishments is pretty normalized at this point. Even but you know, 20 years ago, that was not the case. You had to have a private club pass to get into a bar. Every bar had to be a private club, and if you wanted to go to the bar, you had to be a member, buy a membership at the door, kind of a thing. That's gone away. That went away, 15 years ago.
Okay.
It's more or less normal now, really. Yeah.
But the lounges aren't allowed to have bars, but you could be BYOB.
Well, we're not allowed to have any lounges either. There's no public smoking at all, period.
Oh, you can't smoke in Beehive?
No, we can't let the public in.
Not unless you work there.
To smoke. You know, we have an office.
Yeah. You know, but no, I did.
Gotta know the knock.
Yeah. I didn't. So it's definitely, you know, a hindrance in opening up, you know, opening allowed. Are you allowed to open, you know, because I know some states are just lifting like the moratorium where you can come in and actually build cigar, not lounges, but brick and mortars. You know, is there any rules against building brick and mortars in, you know, Utah or Salt Lake, like the restrictions on some other states?
There's in terms of like just opening up a brick and mortar retail shop.
Yeah.
There are restrictions in terms of how close that business can be to residents. For example, in Salt Lake here, you can't be. You have to be within you have to be at least 600 feet away from any residentially zoned piece of land, or 1,000 feet if it's a public school or a church or a park or, you know, government building. Which basically means you can open one, but it has to be in the middle of an industrial park, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can't even smoke. What the hell is the difference for living next to a resident? Well, they don't want you to smell the Spanish theater when you open the door.
It sure doesn't make sense. You're absolutely right.
I get the school.
Most rules like that don't make sense.
Because so many 14 and 15 and 16-year-olds go for ultra high premium cigars, right? So like I get the schools.
It's
but
mandated, but there's no restriction on the 7-Elevens or you know the convenience store.
Yeah.
Come get your 128 ounce soda.
Yeah, it's an oxygen mask on an airplane, man. It's a perception of safety. It's not. It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So what keeps you guys in Utah, the two of you? You know, versus moving to Florida, Arizona, Texas. You know, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, is that
one thing that keeps the trees in my front yard? It's
okay.
It's roots.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's roots, man. It's
okay. Yeah,
you know,
that's
family, kids,
ties, social circles.
Yeah, I hear. I'm the same way in Florida here. You know, like I said, just roots. So I didn't know. You know, if that had ever crossed you. I mean, you guys are still young, so you're not retirement age yet, and looking for the the Arizonas or the Floridas.
Why not move Apostate? Why not move Apostate to Florida as a business location for the tax incentive on it?
Yeah.
Well, we don't actually run any tobacco through Utah. Our distribution is in New Jersey.
Yeah, but your license though, in the state taxes high in Utah.
Oh yeah, in terms of the retail store, sure, yeah.
But as far as the Apostate cigars though, like that wouldn't benefit you guys to be headquartered in Florida for the actual manufacturer. No,
Utah's pretty business friendly, dude.
Oh, okay. I figured it was tobacco, so it maybe wouldn't be.
We don't run any tobacco through Utah for Apostate, so it doesn't come into play. It's just a business.
Okay, so all out of New Jersey. Is that where Blackwork or Oveja? That's where they're, you know, I'm assuming they're the bonded warehouse, you know, whatever it is they're using out there.
Yeah, it's in Vineland, New Jersey, is our warehouse. Yeah.
So that does make it nice.
Yeah. That was one of the goals with this. Is I don't want to bring any tobacco in that's not going to be sold here because it would still be subject to tax.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah.
So who were? Okay, I was going to say who were you using before? Was it a Illusione or no?
It was.
Yeah, it was. Okay.
Which would have been out of Nevada, right?
Reno. Yeah.
Reno,
yeah. So why the switch from one to the other? Any particular?
That happened when we joined distribution with Oveja Negra brands. We moved all of our inventory out to their warehouse there, and so it was that was really the only reason that we did that.
So part of the deal when we joined Blackwood.
Okay, I said so. How did that relationship come about with you guys with James and Angela?
Well, it started at PCA a number of years ago when Brandon was begging me to bring Black Label Trading into the Beehive. and I was like, all right, well, if you can sell it, let's do it. And that's when that relationship started, and James came out to the shop and did a couple events for us and everything. But then in terms of how Apostate got connected, they reached out to us and asked us to join them, basically.
Right on.
It totally makes sense to me. Like, I had Derek on the show last week. I think it was only a matter of time before you guys kind of join. You guys have very similar stylings. You have very similar. I mean, Brandon looks like he could work for Blackworks. Like you guys all have a very similar feel. I always felt that Apostate was the odd man out with Illusione. Like the brands weren't cohesive with each other the way that Black Label, Viejo Negro brands, and you guys are much more cohesive. As a look too. Yeah, the vibe, and I mean, just the whole idea behind the brand of being black sheep, outcasts, rejects, oddballs.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? And that's Fumari actually opened a lot of doors for us. So doing stuff with Illusione early on got us to a position where Black Label was paying attention to what we were doing as a company. So it was just one of those organic, relationships change, relationships grow. There were no bridges burned with Illusione. We fucking love those guys, but they also recognize that at a certain point you level up, and that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys are still, were you still hunting at PCA this year for new stuff to bring in? How does that work? Because you're showing. Did you have someone else there? Hey, I hear,
Yeah, I've got a couple guys that manage the store here for me, and they were at PCA doing all the bird dogging for Beehive, so that I could be in the booth with Brandon.
So any brands catch their eye?
Oh, I'm sure that there were several. I can't remember off the top of my head which ones, but I think there were a couple new brands that they wanted to bring in. So yeah.
So how do you do that? Because obviously you guys are a brand and you're trying to get shops to give you a chance because you're still a new company, in the grand scheme of things, so how, I always wonder how that works. You want people to bring you in, but then when someone else like, hey, you should bring me in, you're like, I don't know, we're kind of full, It's
for me, when it comes to selling brands here, it's all about what my tobacconists are excited about. I know if they're excited about something, that they're going to, be recommending that to the customers, and our customers have a good relationship with the tobacconists. They trust their judgment, and so that's basically my criteria. If the tobacconists are in love with it, then it's probably a green light, assuming we have the shelf space, etc.
Yeah, and that's an approach that translates for us as a brand too, because we could sit in the office and make phone calls and talk to buyers and shops and get a yes or a no about whether or not they want to give Apostate a shot. But doing the traveling and being on the road and talking to a tobacconist in a shop and giving them a cigar, getting them excited, and then they're talking to the buyer saying, hey, I think I could sell this. That's the same approach. It's the same way that we look at relationships on the road.
Now, does it help sometimes, a lot of times when they find out, when you go in there like trying to sell Apostate, when does it come up that hey, I'm also a retailer, so I know does it
every time
almost right away too. It doesn't take long for that part of the conversation to come up. Hey man, I get it. We come from retail. Kendrick owns a shop in Salt Lake City. We know the issues you deal with. You mentioned that you were tight on space right now. Well, let me talk to you about what we've done to help you with that problem. So it works right into it.
Well, I think I know where Kevin's going with this, and I'm just going to give Kevin his honest to God due. Anybody watching this show right now, it's a manufacturer. If you want to get into smoking cigars, the only one that you need to contact is Kevin. and then
So just-
get Kevin to every single day for years.
So what I need is from any manufacturer, I'm gonna need about 100 cigars in 3 years, and
it works every time. Yeah,
and it works every damn time.
Honestly, I'm gonna raise a glass to Kevin because thank you. Smoking's 99% of where I order from, so I really appreciate that you got Apostate into smoking.
I'm 2 for 2 this year at for my recommendations. I got Apostate and Artesano del Tobacco. So I got
nice. Hell yeah.
Pace yourself, Kevin. You really do pace yourself. That request and the time frame fits right in line with the cigar industry.
Yeah,
That's a viable timeline.
And in the case of Artesano del Tobacco, I have mailed Abe like randomly. I just send him cigars. He gets cigars from them. I don't know if he thinks they're from Billy and Gus, but they're from me. I just been sending him cigars. So and then so eventually he listened, but I was proud. I was proud to get you guys in, because I'm never going to make it. Like I have my small cigar company. I'm never going to make it big. I'm happy making a couple, but if I can get you guys in and start that relationship and you guys explode, and then I'll get to take credit for that in a few years. Like, well, if it wasn't for me,
I was watching Abe's podcast last weekend, and he fully gave me credit. He was like,
he did. I know baby wanted in so Kevin would shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, there's one of two things happen. He either brought you in just to shut me up and then prove me wrong when you guys fail. He'll be like, see, Kevin, they failed. Nobody's buying it. Don't ever fucking come to me with a cigar again. Or he just really liked you guys. So,
I think it's more he liked the guys and to shut you the fuck up, because Abe doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to make a decision with any type of word failure in the sentence. I think it was just shut Kevin the fuck up.
Abe did say something really important though that you guys are overlooking. I think Abe would have brought you guys in last year if you would have had the boxes, right? Because that was Abe's. And in fact, I forgot who he said. I think it was you, Brandon. When you saw Abe this year, the first thing you said to him was, "We got boxes."
It was Kendrick.
Was that Kendrick that said that? He had given one of you guys credit. So I think he would have brought you in last year if you would have had the boxes. I think that was the tip over the edge. Getting Kevin off his back's never going to happen. He knows that. So the tip over the edge to bring you in was definitely, I think, the boxes. So
no, and to be fair, it was valid feedback. We probably would have gone to 20 count boxes eventually as a progression for the brand, probably. But did having that conversation with Abe maybe spur things along? We have to take feedback like that when it's valid. Absolutely.
Solid feedback. I mean, it's a good source too, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, the nice thing is right, hey, Kev, you could probably count on one hand the last 5 years how many brands he's even brought in. I mean, one year was West Tampa. That was it.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. He only brought in one. I think 2 years in a. I think 2 years in a row he only brought in one.
Yeah, one.
And
then El Mago was last. Wasn't El Mago officially last?
El Mago last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there was two. I think there was two last year.
He made up for it this year.
Yeah,
and then El
Mago is a little bit easier because they're there. Near him. Yeah. It's a Casa 1910. Jeremy Fondy, I think he's the national sales manager. Like he's at Smoke-In every day, like smoking cigars. That's what he's been doing that for years. So he's there. So those. Like we had a show on a couple of years ago with Jeff Borshwitz from Corona and Abe Babna from Smoke-In, and we asked him that like what brings how does it small boutiques get into your lounges, and with Jeff it's easy, live near a lounge. If you live near one of his like 4 lounges, and you're willing to just go in like on a random Tuesday or Wednesday unannounced, set up a little table, do a cut and light. interact with the consumers, like you're in, like that's an easy in right there. So it's obviously Abe, if you live down that way, it's a little easier as well. But I'm excited because I saw the poll in the Smoke In Socialite group, like out of all who you're most excited. I think at the end it was almost 80% Apostate people.
Oh, 100%. I voted like 10 times.
Yeah.
That was fun to see. That
was cool. That made our day.
It was reassuring for sure.
It is. As reassuring as it is for you, like every time it's reassuring for me as well. I am following this journey with bated breath, and I'm as excited as you guys are. I guarantee I'm as excited as you guys are, to see how that goes. Now, has he talked to you about doing, because a lot of the new companies he brings in always, like the first cigar always goes out in the Cigar of the Month Club. Like, has he talked to you guys about that yet?
Yeah.
Can you give us a hint?
Well, he said he wants.
Can you tell us the month?
We don't know the month yet, but he said that he wants to put all 8 of the blends in there at some point. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, liking the product was never the issue with Abe. He likes all of them.
Yeah.
So he's happy to do them all at some point in Cigar of the Month. We just have to basically tell him, here's what we can send and when, so he can schedule it. So
yeah, because that's a massive shipment for the Cigar of the Month Club. He's got a hell of a following, and I know and talking to him personally, like the little Coronas, man, that's Abe's size. Abe loves those Coronas, so those are super cool.
No, I think it's awesome, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like there's like the monster stores, and then like I think Kevin, Kerr, you and I have actually talked about this, I think, but there's like the monster stores, and then there's like Jeff and Abe, which what I would consider to be like collegiate level, like college level stores. You got the JRs, the CIs, those are really big ones. Where does this put you in your biggest non-massive conglomerate size shop?
Quite possibly, yeah.
I would have to say, yeah, probably at this point. Yeah.
See, that's got to be an unbelievable feeling for you guys to see that everybody wanted you guys. That Kevin, I never suggest cigars to Abe because he just looks at me and his eyes glaze over like, the fuck you talking about? So the fact that I let Kevin do stuff like that because he's got the pull with stuff, obviously. So everybody reach out to Kevin. Yeah, you can work out a deal.
I've told Abe a couple of times over the last few months now. It's like, I'm not sure if you have your finger on the pulse of the industry as much as you think you do. Because like he'll make some comments sometimes about some brands like not being, they're really not doing that good, or they're not that big. I think he's a little
jaded though.
But then I'll be like, you know what? They're a lot more fucking bigger than you fucking think they are. It's just not just referring to a couple different companies, and so but yeah, it's like anything else. I mean, Kendrick, if you guys run a lounge, I mean, if people aren't asking for it, you're not bringing it in.
Yeah. It either comes from the consumer themselves, or like I said before, the tobacconist. You gotta, there's got to be some sort of hype or some sort of demand coming from somewhere.
See, now, Kevin, I'm waiting for you to 3D print the book as a sample box for them. Just have it be the book as a sample box. I mean, we got to get that. When is that coming out?
Yeah, they got to have one.
I know they got to. They got to. You guys got to make a humidor that's just called the book, and it opens like a book, right? I mean, come on.
Well, Saga does that. They got a whole series of books. Jessica's got the whole collection. So yeah, see that there you go.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea that was a real thing.
Yeah.
What?
This is our newest release. It's our Cigarillos.
Oh, that's how they come. Okay,
wow.
because it's
Dude,
the
I've
Lost
not
Pages.
seen That.
The Lost
That is
Pages.
awesome.
100
nice.
100 Cigarillos in here.
No, 98.
What
98.
does that go for MSRP? What does that go for MSRP, Kendrick?
What's that?
145.
What does that go for MSRP?
145 a box.
Is Abe getting those?
He didn't order any, but I'm sending him a couple for free just so they can see how awesome they are, and then maybe he'll buy more. I don't know.
That is
you know-
awesome.
That's
You know who did order 10 boxes? This guy
Yeah,
right here.
Where?
I put in an order for a guy today for 10 boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be available on my website. So
Yeah, I'm sure Jessica's going to allow that. She's already built a bookshelf in your freaking bedroom for those, buddy.
it's I've actually already got her a discount code on the website. I'm like, just buy them, so I can keep track of inventory, so essentially at cost. So because she loves, she goes through like I think La Aurora is the one she's smoking right now, the cigarillos. She'll go through a 10 of 20 in a day, every day.
Wow.
She almost did that on a trip. We're
They're
driving
so
there.
smokable, man. Yeah, they're so good.
These things are chain smokable for
Yeah.
sure.
When are those available?
So
Next month.
they're going to be ready anytime. I'm going down to the Dominican in a couple of weeks, week and a half actually, and just to finalize the packaging, and they should be exported soon after. So they should be.
Well, I'm going to be getting a box.
Yeah,
I remember last year at PCA.
Box.
Brandon,
Yeah.
I think you'd give Kevin and I some. Kevin's like, smoke when he goes, man, I'm going to save these 6 for Jessica. It was like an hour later. I'm going to save these 5 for Jessica. Another hour. I'm going to save these 4 for Jessica.
because what I like about the cigarillos versus all the other ones that she smoked the Davidoffs. Like I said, she's on the La Auroras right now. Like every now and then I want something small, but those are too small. Like the ones she smoked, and then they get hot, about halfway through, and then I usually end up just putting it down because I'm not enjoying it. It's getting hot, and it's just too quick of a smoke. Like, like those are realistically like 10 to 12 minutes, and that's it. Yours are a little bit longer. They don't get hot. I don't know what makes them hot. I'm assuming less fill, what you guys did, so they're not burning your fucking hands at the halfway point. And they last just a little bit longer.
They're flavor bombs.
Yeah.
That's the thing too I noticed between those and other smaller cigarillos I smoke. They are flavor bombs.
Do your guys have a cap on them, or are they just ready to go?
They're ready to go.
Ready to go.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's not like a smaller cigar, like Kevin said, if they're even a little bit smaller. I found a lot of those other cigars they're just very middle of the road, very either mild to maybe medium. Your cigar, those are just 100% flavor bombs, and you get a lot out of something that small when you smoke it. After I smoked one, I kind of felt like I smoked a larger ring gauge cigar, but yet I had it in a way shorter period of time, a smaller cigar.
Yeah, so on that, my craving was satiated. That's what it was. It's like when you smoke a Corona, a Toro, a Robusto, like you're done and you're like, all right, I'm done. I still chain smoke, but but with one of those, if we're on the road, we got a quick trip, I'll finish one. I want another one right away. And like with yours, like cigarette, I'm like, I was content. I finished it. I'm like, I'm happy. I got that craving in, and that's what it was. So it made it nice.
You did come back to the booth 2 or 3 times for more of those. So
Those were for Jessica. Those were for Jessica.
Ryan, in full fairness, the third trip were Jessica's. The first 2 had a great deal of intention of ending up in Jessica's.
Yeah,
it was definitely a Jessica trip.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it's the only cigar that Jessica talked about all year. from PCA, out of everything I brought home, all of our friends in the industry that gave us cigars to, oh, hey, make sure, Jessica gets these, these are for you. These are for, I hear that a lot. Make sure Jessica gets these, but all year long, that's really the only one that she consistently talked about. It's like, hey, when are those coming out? When are those coming out? Like, I don't know.
Okay, so I need to get my hands on these. Brandon, we're talking after the show. I'm going to be buying a box for whoever can get me a box before you come on, because I want a box of these.
Well, Kev,
These sound amazing.
That was the focus of our conversation. I mean, all the way back until we dropped you. We had conversations about two brands. A couple of brands along the way, but two really that for us kind of stood out, and the one was yours, and particularly those smokes on the way home.
They're really good. I'm glad you guys like them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, question for you guys. Okay, you started with Illusion, and some you made a comment earlier that I wanted to come back to. You made a comment of, they didn't mind because you move up, right? It's a move up. Okay, so years ago they wouldn't have seen Illusion as not the move up. Is my point.
Sure.
So and I'm not. This isn't a dog on Illusion. What I'm getting at is, at what point in time did you guys feel that it actually would be a move up? Because Dion's a genius in this industry.
Nothing really to do with distribution or who Illusione is in the market, right? Nothing to do with that. The biggest caveat that makes me phrase it as a move up or a step forward as far as what helps Apostate is joining distribution with Oveja Negra gave us access to their sales force. We got 10 reps.
Okay.
Right. Illusion didn't have that as an option.
Correct.
They were great. They did fulfillment for us. They did invoicing for us. Everything that LJ Zuka's doing. But now we've got 10 reps across the country doing what Kendrick and I were doing ourselves. For 4 years. So that alone.
So you got an additional feature.
Oh yeah,
that's a huge feature.
That's a huge. So that makes sense. I've been sitting here trying to figure out why you would rate that, and that's not a knock. Personally, I smoke much more of Oveja Negra brands than I do Illusione, but I was just racking myself but that makes sense though. That's a huge feature option.
Yeah, and for me, I smoke Illusione and Black Label on equal par. I love them both, and like you said, Dion's a genius. Amazing company, had nothing to do with anything they weren't doing for us. It just had something to do. What can we do next to grow Apostate?
Sure, that makes sense.
It was part of that move was sad. It was like for the girlfriend because you got a job in another state and not for any other reason.
No, seriously.
And it still is. We still bullshit with those guys and talk to them all the time.
I fucking love those guys.
It was sad. It was sad not to see Dion. Not seeing him at the show. It's always I always look forward to seeing him and remembering how tall he is, which I never do. Until I think
he's taller than Terrence.
I think he is taller than Terrence.
He's taller than Omar?
No. Nobody's taller than Omar.
No.
Okay.
No.
He's tall though. I mean,
maybe Shahan from Cigar TV. He might be the tallest now.
Oh,
okay.
I don't know. Carl Malone's got to be maybe.
All right. Well, there you go.
You can't count Carl for tall. He played basketball. I mean, it's like saying who's the strongest and picking Eddie Hall because he owns a cigar label, Of course he's the strongest owner of any cigar brand out there,
Who's the best rapper? Yeah.
So do you guys get any fanboy moments at people you run into someone and it's just do you get that because obviously you have a lounge, so you've had cut and lights with people and you travel, but do you still get those fanboy moments?
I'm not as starstruck as I used to be. I still it's still really cool to see you know, the Jose Blancos, the Carlitos, the Rafael Nadals, the Michael Herklots. Like, but I also kind of know them, and we've had conversations, and it's not that like daunting anymore. You know, even Karl Malone. Like, every time I bump into Karl, he tugs on my beard like we're old buddies. You know what I mean? So it's there's still a little bit of my 15-year-old self would be freaking out. I'm not currently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still get this. I still get the same way. You know, when Saka will send me a message, or like Pete Johnson, and I'll be at work. And I'm like, oh my God, Pete Johnson sent me a message. I gotta stop what I'm doing. Like, let's see what Pete says. You know, so I still get that way. You know, and
you had your one moment this year.
Which moment was that?
That was when after we interviewed Brandon, we went over to interview James.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was.
I got to be in the booth with James the whole time.
Yeah. Kevin was like, "Hey, how are you? Hey, James."
Yeah. I still, you know, James is just so intimidating. He still intimidates me. You know, like I said, I still can't talk with him and have a conversation. You know, and everybody says, you know, like he's the mind that goes, like, Angela, she's the one you got to watch out for. You know, she's the shark. You know, I'm like, well, that's the way it always in the relationship. The wife is always, you know, the one, like Steve Saka is the, you know, he's gruff, but Cindy is the one, you know, don't fuck with Cindy, you know, and it's just, it's always the spouse that has to, you know, same thing with Jessica. Like, you know, she's the one you got to watch out for.
I don't know if I've ever seen Kendrick get starstruck at all. Kendrick, do you have an idol in the cigar world?
I used to get starstruck all the time when I first started going to PCA, and oh my God, that's right there, or whatever. But that's evolved as I've, you know, met them, and now that I'm on this side of the industry, it's evolved into just more of just a solid respect for what these guys have been doing for so many years.
Yeah, like a peer-to-peer respect. Yeah.
Well, I don't even know. I don't. Are we peers? I don't know, but
well, not. Yeah, come on.
It's more of a, you know, just I don't know, like, just I have, I guess, in a sense, a deeper admiration for what they're doing, because now I know what this road looks like. You know, we're only down at 5 years, and these guys are down at, you know, 15, 20, 25, 30, however many fucking years. And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, and I look at, you know, just what I know from behind the scenes, and then like the few cigars I do make, and just all the difficulty that goes in, you know, to my, you know, 6,000-7,000 cigars a year, you know, and I look at those guys, and, you know, that are importing millions of cigars, and you look at them like, the fuck do you do this every day? Yeah. Like, how do you, you know, I have a hard time managing this circus here that I've got, you know, and you guys are exponentially, you know, crazier than me, but then nowhere near, you know, a Rocky, a Carlito, you know, Lucione, you know, even you know, a Veja Negra, you know, has got, you know, tenfold over you guys. And it's like, how do you do it?
Yeah. How do you do it? Well, you learn as you go, man. That's the one thing I'm finding out for sure is everybody just kept doing whatever comes next. You just do it. So,
and everybody's got their own path through wherever they're going, you know, like everybody's doing it a little bit differently, and there's just so many different ways to get where you want to go, which is getting your cigar in somebody's hand, having them smoke it and enjoy it.
That's it. And at least you guys got going, you know, you got the social media, which is already a leg up on, you know, half of the industry.
90% of the industry. 90%.
It still boggles my mind, you know, that, you know, that these companies still don't have any social media.
So I'll tell you why, Kevin. I'll tell you why, because I've actually thought about this extensively. By the way, I knew I made it in this industry when you have Cynthia Fuente and Bobby Newman's phone number in your phone. I was like, are you kidding me? Like that's just okay. But anyways, but I've actually thought about this a lot, Kevin. I think, and Kerr, you've traveled around a whole lot, been as a manufacturer as well. I feel a lot of manufacturers don't understand the growing younger population coming into cigars. And I think a lot of the older brands stake their claim on, we are who we are. We don't really have to do much to keep our fans. So that's where you see the Apostates. That's where you see the Room 101s. That's where you see Ovejo Negro brands that are doing the marketing. When you look at their demographic, I guarantee you they have the youngest demographic in the cigar industries for smokers.
Sure.
And I think it's because, like I said, the older legacy brands take that as what's the word I'm looking for granted. They take it for granted that they are there and they will sell. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you've also got guys like Padron who, let's be honest, they don't need a social media, and they never will, right?
Yep.
Fuente is kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and then you've got, like you said, Room 101, El Mago, Herklotz. Herklotz kills it on social media.
Oh God.
You know what I mean? So the guys who are doing it are obviously doing it for a reason. The guys who are not, they're probably not feeling the pinch of not doing it yet.
Correct.
You know, and then
Correct.
yeah, and then I'm talking about a lot of the other boutique brands that, you know, that are still there. They're still been doing it for a few years, and it's just like, I've never seen you post anything, and you're, you know, and it's just, you're still a small, and maybe, you know, some people are happy being small, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, some people just want to be, if they can get into 100 lounges and they can make X amount of money, that's fine.
Right, sell a box a month, they're good with that, you know.
And that's, I mean, to Kendrick's point, the journey is different for everybody, right? For us right now, I think we decided when we aligned ourselves with Oveja Negra that we wanted to see how far down the road we could go, right? There's not a threshold really yet, right? We don't know what a threshold would look like right now. Just let's keep doing what we're doing. Let's build a good foundation. Let's see what a good foundation turns into 5-10 years down the road. If it still fits at that point, we adjust as needed or not, or we call it good, you know, sell the STG. I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's my goal. You know, Matt said, Boo sent me a message the other day. He's like, we do good together. You know, and that was the whole message. And I'm like, yeah, now if you just get your business daddy to kick some money my way, I go, we could do better all the time together. You know, we can
Matt
spend
Booth is the best hype man ever, dude. Matt Booth loves everybody in his circle and wants to see everybody do well.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that, man.
He's the only one I asked everybody the same question. You know, what cigar from your portfolio would you smoke for the rest of the year if you could only smoke one? His was the Padron 64 Principe. You know, and I'm like, all right, cool. I go get those at, you know, and my response, get those at any Room 101 dealer near you.
He didn't even stop and think about that. That like popped right out of his fucking mouth.
Instant.
Yep.
He does love that cigar. I've seen him smoking. He loves that cigar.
Yeah. You know, that's it. And you guys smoke other cigars, Brett. You know, and that's one thing that I love about you, Brandon. Like, I don't see, you know, Kendrick, you know, too much on social media, but you interact with other brands, and like Lauren Cope. I mean, everybody interacts with Lauren from McAuliffe, and she's doing a good job because she'll call out, you know, like, you know, interacts with Dunbarton and Aganorsa, and you interact with McAuliffe, and just I think a number of years ago, like, that wasn't a thing. Like, you did your thing. I mean, Brandon from Apostate smoked Apostate.
Yep.
You know, and then maybe in his spare time, not on camera, he would smoke a Padron or a Dunbarton. Right. But, you know, God forbid you go on smoking a picture, you know, of, you know, you smoking someone else's, or you having a playful interaction with another brand. Like, that wasn't.
I mean, if you go on my Instagram feed right now, you can find me smoking Room 101, Black Label, Illusione. It's all on there. I'm not necessarily trying to hype them up or promote them, but I'm a consumer first, right? Like, I am a cigar nerd. I love cigars. I love tobacco. And if I restricted my smoking habits to just Apostate, I'd be doing myself a disservice, but I'd be doing all those great brands products in the service too. I smoke Foundation, I smoke Herklotz, I have Perdomo, Patron, whatever. I love it all.
I think that gives you more credibility when you smoke your own brand too, because it's kind of like my shit doesn't stink, right? Like, it's if you only do your own brand, like, it's it's refreshing when you see a brand owner go, oh, this is also a good cigar. This is also a good cigar. It's not always my cigar is the only cigar you should smoke. It's kind of, in my opinion, it gives people that smoke all the brands that you show yourself smoking, not your cigar, kind of the gate to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to show Apostate some love because she shows my favorite brand some love.
Well, and they do. I mean, they do, and it's kind of organic, and that's not necessarily why I'm doing it. But a rising tide raises all ships, right?
For sure, for sure.
If one of us is doing well and I can help somebody else do well, I know that they're going to probably show the love back, and we should all be doing that. It should be about collaboration and not competition. This industry is hard enough.
For me, it's like for me, cigars is just another like artistic expression, right? I'm a musician first and foremost, so I think in terms of music when I'm doing cigar stuff, whether I'm blending or whatever. But when it comes to like smoking other people's brands, it's like when I go see Billy Joel in concert, he's gonna play a Beatles song, he's gonna play a Rolling Stones
Correct.
song because he fucking loves that shit.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, so it's, to me, it's the same thing. Like, you know, you have your favorite bands, you have your favorite songs, you have your favorite music, but if you only listen to one band, do you really like music? You know what I mean?
You can't tell me Billy Joel's sitting around only listening to his own records. Like, there's no right? That's it. Yeah.
But and that's why I commend you on being willing to smoke other brands, because we all know the people that only smoke their own, picturely, at least on a picture, they only smoke their own. And I think that does a disservice. I think when you show you smoke others, it almost invites others that smoke the brands that you're showing that are not yours to smoke yours. If that makes sense. Right. If that makes sense.
I think there's truth in that. I think it's just about being real, dude. I think it's just about being authentic. Everyone knows that Kendrick and I are the co-founders of Apostate. It's no longer a mystery. We're in year 5. People understand that. So if you can give them something else they can relate to, it's not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So how did this year's PCA go for you guys? You know, are you seeing exponential growth each year? Is it, doubling each year, tripling? How's it going? And did it help being in Oveja Negra, or did it, would you prefer to be on your own? And I'm not saying I hate it stand on your own 2 legs, but it is nice. That booth is, you got people coming in. It's a big, beautiful booth.
PCA this year was off the charts for us.
Was it?
It was. It was definitely our best show yet by quite an order of magnitude. And
yeah.
Oh, great.
It was, it was great.
If we had to put a percentage, when you say quite an order of magnitude, are we talking like a 200% showing as far as like growth? Like, are we talking like astronomical?
We probably did.
For us, astronomical.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we doubled our orders from last year.
Easily. We did on the first. I don't know percentages right now. I'm still buried in paperwork, but on day 1 of the show this year, we wrote more orders and talked to more people than the entire show last year. So it was everything after day 1 was gravy, and that's awesome. We're super grateful. Now, would that have happened if we had our own booth? Sure, we would have seen growth probably. Right. But being in the Black Label booth, you can't ignore that helped.
Now tell us about the end of day 1. You guys are, you're back at the hotel or Airbnb, and you're looking at all these orders. Was there like a sinking feeling, like, how are we going to fulfill these? It's like, well, what the fuck?
That's actually the one part of the business that we were fully prepared for.
Okay.
If anything, we're over prepared on production right now, which is great. Thank God for Kendrick. Thinking
that's
ahead.
rare. That's rare in the boutique world.
Oh yeah, especially PCA stuff. Most time not going to be shipping till August, September. Yeah. For all the orders, and that's got to be Kendrick. I mean, as a retailer, and Brandon, Did that ever drive you nuts in the past? You know, you're at PCA and you're like, hey, when am I going to see this? It should be about September, maybe October. And you're like, what the fuck?
I mean, it depends on how it's presented in the booth, right? If you're in the booth and they're like showing you their hot new shit, and they're like, yeah, you're going to get this next month, and then it doesn't show up till September, that's troubling.
Yeah.
If you're in the booth and they're like, hey, this is a fall release, please know that as you pre-order this at the booth, then cool, man. Like I'm here for it, right? And that's kind of what we tried to adopt in the booth this year. Was we've got our new collaboration with not really a collaboration. James Brown let us go play with his tobacco, so we're doing our first project in their factory, and we know it's not going to be ready until September, October, and that was the spiel in the booth, right? So we make people aware of when stuff is coming. So we had the luxury this year of being able to be very specific about when stuff should show up for retailers, so that they knew that when they placed their order.
So other than speaking to Kevin, what was your highlight of PCA this year? That's me promoting my guy, Ryan. That's how it goes, man. I got his back.
For me, the highlight every year is just seeing our friends, man. Like, this industry is so incestuous, and like, it's just so much fun to just be like in New Orleans, especially, man, just like wandering the streets and you turn a corner and holy shit, it's so-and-so. How the fuck are you? And that happens like constantly. And that's just so much fun.
It's one of those, like, you know, you walk through the trade show floor and you see thousands of people. And you're like, holy shit, there's a lot of people in this industry. But at the same time, it's not the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's like 1 degree. Everybody is associated very closely. And if you don't know somebody, you know the person that they're working with, or you work with them tangentially. So it's a cool, like, it's a big industry, but it's a small world, and I love that shit. Like Kendrick said, we'll be walking down the street after dinner on our way to wherever and bump into a crowd of people that we bullshit with for 10 minutes because we know them from the last trade show or an event we did or something like that. So I love that part, especially in New Orleans, being able to walk around.
But at the end of day one, with all those orders, that probably was a nice highlight.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see all those orders. And be like, wow, we crushed last year.
That's
that was
great, man. Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it definitely makes it, you know, I'm the same way, you know. It's just you go there more. I mean, obviously we got interviews to do, you know, to make Abe his money back, you know, for running the promos. But it's about seeing your friends. You know, it's just, you can interact all day long, every day, 364 days online with somebody, but there's just nothing like just seeing them in person, especially for the first time. Like the first time people, that's always great.
Yeah. People that you've associated with for years, and now you're finally shaking hands. Yeah, that's really cool. Or
that's how I'm going to feel when I get to meet Brandon for the. That's what I thought when I got to. See, I will say when I first met Kevin, and I saw him the very first time I ever met Kevin. I haven't had the privilege of meeting Kerr yet, but Kevin was at Smoking without his hat. And I saw the side profile. I'm like, I think that looks like Kevin. That looks like Kevin. And then he turns around and and he had his glasses on. I'm like, that's Kevin A. And I remember telling him, like, dude, I think it's like the first time I've really ever seen you without your hat, you know?
Yeah, you know,
but it definitely looks different.
Yeah, whenever I meet up with someone, like, hey, you know, like, let's meet up at Smoke Inn, let's meet up at PCA, and you know, I always have two things that I'm nervous about: whether they're going to be really short, and that's kind of weird, and if they're going to have like a weird accent or something, like their voice doesn't match up. You know, luckily that rarely happens. It does, and it's just like, wait. That's not how I pictured your voice. Or it's like, you know, it's like, oh, you're only 4 feet tall. Well, that's embarrassing.
You look a lot bigger on camera.
Yeah, you look a lot bigger. Like Lauren, you don't realize how big Lauren or how tall Lauren is.
She's very tall.
Yeah.
No, Lauren's like 5'9", dude. Yeah, she's tall, man.
Yeah.
Lauren's the hot babe of cigars. I'm just gonna say it.
Good for
Not
her.
married anymore, and I can say it. Lauren's the hot babe of cigars.
You say that, Brian.
She really,
Yeah.
truly
Leans into it too. She knows how to capitalize. I
But
think.
the difference between her, not mentioning other names that are others that do it, Lauren's creative. She's the hot babe that doesn't play the hot babe, but does that make like she
Yeah,
doesn't
she's
flaunt
authentic.
it.
She's
She's not just like
authentic.
taking pictures of cigars going,
Yeah.
She's not afraid to be a dork, which is
correct. It makes her hotter.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's fun. She's nerdy. She's awkward. You know,
Herself. Yeah.
yeah, she's just herself. You know, so
Yes.
yes, that was a positive. We can't even talk about Lauren, and then we can't even think about anything else. Except you see,
Right.
except you see, I love Steve Saka fucked up her whole photo the other day, and it was she had that like sexy pose, and then Steve Saka's like, "What's up with your tunneling cigar?" And then I zoomed in and
I saw that.
I commented, I'm like, "Well, now that's all I can see is that fucked up cigar that she's smoking."
Right. It was barely tunneling, but yeah, you saw it.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It
Leave it to Steve to point it out.
Oh, I know, and that's what Steve does. You know, just points out little shit like that.
Steve's
Yeah.
the guy you would bring to a strip club, and like this, like 9.5 would be on the stage, and Steve would go, "Oh, she's got 2 moles right there."
Yeah. And it's like, oh,
She's got a C-section scar. What are we doing here? Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, thanks, Steve.
You see your ankles? I don't know, man. Look at his
Yeah.
ankles. I can't,
You know, Steve, before you opened your mouth, I was enjoying the view.
Yeah. You know, that's
Just look
good. That's-
down there. Look at those things. These
Yeah.
don't match. One's
Yeah.
really kind of big.
uh,
So, Kev, what was your highlight of PCA this year?
honestly, just seeing everybody, you know, again, you know, it's just so much fun. I just love talking with people, you know, and just finding out people's stories, because nobody has a boring story. You know, I haven't found one yet. You know, I don't care who you are, just some Joe Schmo off the street. You know, everybody's got a cool story, you know, and I want to hear it. You know, so that was it. Just getting to hang out with everybody. You know, that's always fun. What about you,
It's
Kerr?
an industry full of characters for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that we are.
It most certainly is. Mine,
You know,
I mean, I was actually, I told you this before. I mean, we went through and talked to a lot of people. There's a lot of really cool stuff this year. I mean, a lot of really, it just wasn't the booths. I mean, there's a lot of great products. And, you know, we were really lucky enough. A lot of people shared new releases. Some great freaking cigars, man. I mean, high quality releases coming out in 2026. I was really impressed with just the quality of cigars, the tobacco, the construction, and that really, for me, was a huge highlight of looking at the cigars and smoking them and just thinking, man, I'm excited about when these are going to be available, when they're going to be released.
So Kendrick and I didn't get to leave the booth a lot, so I didn't really see anything, right?
Oh.
And so, like, you know, I went to the bathroom and I saw some stuff on the way. So what would you say would be like 3 things that you were most excited about that you saw that's new?
I think the visuals that we saw, Sinistros, Nintendos. I mean, that was awesome.
Those are cool. No
I mean,
Nintendo, yeah, those are awesome.
No Nintendo. I mean, freaking, that was super cool. And just their whole booth. I mean, everything about it was really cool. Those are great guys too.
Love those guys. Yeah.
The El Mago, the whole line, the St. James, and their whole line of all the different kind of cartoons, those old throwback tins and cartoons. That was just vibrant and looked incredibly beautiful. And I mean, I gotta give a hats off to Newman's anniversary humidor, the 250th anniversary cigar humidor that's made. The map of the United States, every state is made with the state tree, the wood from the state tree.
Wow, that's
in
cool.
the humidor.
Okay.
And it was And what was comical too is listening to Kevin and Steve talk about how did they get that wood? That wood's one that kind of is going to warp. But what they do is, and I'm like, it's fucking cool, guys. But it was also really neat to hear these guys talk about how they preserve. So those were some really honestly eye-catching, cool things that
Hell yeah.
I saw. The food court was not eye-catching.
So, Kerr, I actually saw that, and since you brought it up, did you guys get an MSRP on what that humidor valued at? And did it come with cigars?
It came with cigars, and I can't remember.
But there wasn't a special cigar made for that, or is that the 250?
Yeah, the 250
be in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
the America 250
okay.
cigar is going to be in it.
So that's like a $30 cigar.
Yeah, so and you talk about the no tienda. So that was probably, so there was two things that I was really proud of. Like, so when I went around to so many different booths, so many people would say, "Oh, I'm glad to see you're not wearing a Speedo this at the show." So that was some cool recognition, because some people said that I didn't know. Like, oh, so you follow me, so that was kind of cool, to see that. And then, all the like on the no tiendo, like everybody was raving about that, and that was super cool that I got to create that project, for them, and now, and then, like I said, the other box that I created for them, and it was just super cool to see, the hype on that. We were just wondering how people would take that. So it's kind of cool that, even though I couldn't display or have anything at PCA, people were still talking about something that at least I had my hand in.
I didn't know you had your hand in that. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I designed the James came to me with an idea, so I got with my designer, and then we designed the no tiendo box, and then we also did the revolver. That one we did that project for them, and Mardo Cigar. I did all the little cowboy hat cigar rests.
Those cowboy hats were cool. I almost lifted one, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I felt like I felt my Catholicism. I'd have to go to confession afterwards.
Yeah.
But those were beautiful, man.
I added one in that shipment I sent you, Kerr. So you got one covered. And then we did, everything Ram from Artista, had on all his 3D printed stuff. We did all that for Ram, even though he does 3D printing. It was just coming down to the wire. He needed some help. So
both those things you did were super unique. Obviously, you did for both of the projects you did for Sinistra was really cool. But what you did for Ram, that with the wooden side, that the opening of the 3D printing, that just was so eye catching.
Yeah, it was super cool, and I think we're going to see more 3D printing. Like I said, that this is our new, for our 10th anniversary. We've got a little slide box that we did for our own cigar. So it's slides just like a regular cigar box does. So I think and then this is I've got a couple people that that do house blends for lounges. Like Beehive. I mean, you guys know how much boxes cost. It's like, hey, if you want 50 boxes, you're not getting 50 wooden boxes made. Like, there's no box factory that's shutting down production.
It'd be expensive
to make 50 boxes for you. Not happening. Or if they do, they're going to be ungodly expensive. So they just that's why they get them in paper bundles. So showing these off to a few people, showing what you can do with 3D printing. It's never going to take over boxing, or boxes.
I will say, as the odd man out here, right? Because I wasn't fortunate enough to go to PCA. I've never been to PCA. Quite frankly, I'm not a news guy, though, like Kev and Dojo and Coop are. I'm much more of just to shoot the shit, come on the show and have a good time. But I will say, last year, when I watched all of the videos between Coop's, I think he did 80 last year almost. Between all of Coop, because the only people, I'll be up front, the only people you gotta watch if this is the first time you're chewing in here or anything, if you watch Kevin and you watch Coop, you get the entire show. Period. Mm-hmm. You don't have to watch anybody else. Kevin, Coop, or I should say Cigar Prop and Cigar Coop, That's it. You get everything that you'll need to see. Last year, the only thing I saw that I was super excited about is what's over Kevin's left shoulder right now. That was the coolest thing at PCA last year.
The Room
that
101
was the
humidor.
nicest thing at PCA that I saw in any of the videos. This year, it was awesome to see Kevin, all the 3D print, the no Nintendo. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. But it was so awesome to see kind of everybody branching out of the norm for both look, color profile, and everything else. I feel like this year stepped up a ton in visibility alone, and how things look. I think was I felt as a viewer was very much at the forefront of a lot of manufacturers' minds. Am I wrong in that statement versus last year? I don't think last year we didn't get the colorfulness that we got this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that, you know, and I enjoy watching Coop's videos as well. I watch Dojo's videos because they're generally funny, you know, so there's always something. Oh
yeah, Juan is fantastic.
Yeah, you know, so there's always something going on there, and I skim through other people's videos just to see how they're doing. And God, some of these people though, people claim to be media, and then their sound is horrible.
Horrible.
Their filming is horrible, you know, and it's just like, what are you doing? Have you never seen an interview? Have you ever seen anybody interview anybody? You know, I don't watch too many of Charlie's videos, Half Wheel, only because they hand the microphone to the person, and then it's just like a quick 2-minute, like what you got new. I like the, you know, where it's a little bit more interview style, you know, which is what I try and do.
And Danny does that too at 505 with boutique.
Yeah.
I think if you want boutique, Apostate, you know, Kendrick and Brandon both know Danny very well. If you're looking for boutique, it's Danny. Anything else, I think between Cigar Prop and Coop, everything is covered.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Everything's covered.
And the one thing that we did different
Stogies can kiss my ass.
Yeah. We filmed, which I've had 2 people reach out to me now and ask me why, you know, and then they said they loved it. Why I filmed in 9:16 vertical format. Everybody else films wide format. And I go, because nobody turns their phone anymore.
Correct.
I go, do the research. I hate turning my phone. If I got to watch a video and I got to turn it sideways, I'm not watching that video. I want to just.
Yeah,
it's the TikTok effect. You know, nobody wants to turn their videos, and nobody wants to see a 20-minute video. You know, try and keep them at 5-6 minutes, and that's about, you know, that's about it.
And I think this year too, when we did all the different interviews, you know, there's obviously a slew of celebrities there. And the one guy, especially this year, last year was really cool, but this year just such an easy conversation, down to earth guy is Michael Knowles. I mean, 100% crazy, like
so easy
to talk to, and just, you know, he can have a conversation about anything and everything. You know, just a super, at least the appearance when we were there, you could get a feeling from someone who's not being legit and a little bit fake. I mean, it's real down to earth.
Kerr, you're absolutely right.
What's that?
Who did you say, Michael?
Michael Knowles.
Michael Knowles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With Mayflower.
Right, Kerr. Like I took some privilege, the very small privilege I have at TGS. I feel like I could take and go behind the stage because they all know who I am. And I chatted with Knowles for like 20 minutes, just him and I. And it didn't feel like it was podcast Knowles, like legitimately great guy, great conversation. I felt like it was just him and I in the room. Like, he does a really good job when he's talking with you at making you feel like he's only speaking to you and not concerned about anything else in the world that's going on. So I had Knowles was a great interview for you guys. I really enjoyed it so much, and you liked it a lot too, Kevin, because you put him on your banner for your intro. So I know it was a great interview for you as well. So
oh yeah, you know, and
the most uncomfortable position I was in because I had to have the camera like at the wheel, and I'm like holding it.
Yeah,
I was like ramping up.
Yeah, you know, but so many more. I mean, I don't know how much you guys got around, Brandon and Kendrick. A lot of boutiques that I had never heard of. I think there was more this year than there was last year, and I
heard
you know,
that
I get the emails every day from Half Wheel, and it's like, you know, they got several guys covering it, and I'm like, who the hell's that company? Like I didn't see them, you know, and it's just there was a lot, you know, and it's amazing this industry is just continuing to grow.
So let me ask you guys a question. Kerr, this is obviously for you as well, being that you've been a brand owner for a while. Brandon, Kendrick, Apostate started how many years ago again?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
When you guys are talking to other companies, and when do you guys feel you've made the first rung of a completion in this industry? Does that make sense? Like, I've made the first chapter, I've made the second chapter. Like how far into it were you guys? We're not going to go anywhere if we don't fuck up, type deal.
I think we're just turning that corner now.
Okay.
I would say like we're entering our 2.0 phase, you could call it.
Okay.
Where 1.0, you know, was the, you know, proof of concept, really, you know, and you know, repackaging in 20 count boxes and doing a cigarillo on our first limited release with Oveja. That marks Apostate 2.0. Like, okay, we're going to be around for a minute, and now it's time to just build on the foundation that we've created. 1.0 is all just foundation building, you know?
Right. Apostate 2.0 is a phrase that we've been using in the office between ourselves a lot lately. And it's one of those, like, we were lucky enough to focus on the quality of the product itself. The cigars, out of the gate, we worked with the right people, right? Hochi Blanco and his ingredients and his production did everything it could possibly do to set us up to stick around as long as we don't fuck it up, right? So Apostate 2.0, like Kendrick says, becomes more about reach, right? Market reach, audience reach, smokers picking it up and trying it, and retailers having confidence in it. And that's something that we've been talking about for probably the last 2 or 3 months. So like Kendrick said, it's just now, after PCA especially, starting to feel like, okay, cool, we're probably not going anywhere. How do we make sure that since we're here, we not necessarily capitalize, but make the most of the opportunity to still be here? Because there were people 5 years ago who showed up on the stage the same time we did that aren't around anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
A lot of the brands 5 years ago aren't around.
Yeah. So how do we continue to separate ourselves in a good way? You know, I think the cigar comes first. I think building relationships is second, probably tied with first. And then just making smart choices, like, you know, the venture with Black Label and aligning ourselves with people who are interested in furthering the goal the way we are.
Now, are you feeling the pressure of not trying to expand too fast? You know, I mean, Kerr and I we've had people on the show. You know, they'll talk about their first PCA. You know, I came to my first PCA with 12 blends in 3 different sizes in each blend, and it's just like, what? You know, it's like, you know, and you know, and we're in the age of, and I think we're actually coming out of it. You know, the last 4 or 5 years, you guys have probably seen it, to where, man, LEs they were getting fucking out of control. You know, I mean, every 3 months, it was a new limited edition. It was
so was the $100 cigar.
Oh, the $100. Thankfully, that's fucking gone.
Done.
You know, for the most part. But you know, and so far this year, I haven't really seen it. You know, to where it's just constantly the new LE coming out, the new LE. You know, it's a new line extension, and it's just, I think that's the biggest killer of small brands, is trying to. They feel that pressure, and it's like, oh, hey, you know, we did this good at PCA. You know, what if we came out with several new lines?
So you make a good point, Kevin. I've actually thought about this a ton. I feel the market, and Kendrick, Brandon, if you guys have a different opinion on this, I'd love to hear it. I feel the market has lost a full understand, has kind of lost a grasp on what the consumer wants as far as marketing or LEs or something special. And I kind of feel like in this country, we're oversaturated with really, really good cigars, and every brand feels they have to put out an LE for something to make it special and go off the roof. And I think the last couple of years, you've almost seen a complete rebranding exercise within the cigar world, to where they tried a little bit after COVID, a couple of years of LEs. And now I feel like they're realizing that LEs aren't as all they're cracked up to be. We just need to be, I mean, is any of this making sense? Kind of like, I feel like since COVID, they've tried to bring back the boom with LEs, and they realize they can't do that with a lot of these companies. Does that make sense, or is that just like a me?
Totally. No, that makes sense. I think it was probably a combination of a couple of things, right? Because you have a growing audience, not just retailer wise, but consumer wise, who are paying attention to what's happening at PCA, right?
Yeah.
So you've got PCA driving innovation. What can we do to get people interested and get their eyes on us and be excited about what we're doing as a brand? But you also had the COVID surge and the post-COVID surge.
Yep.
That people are trying to capitalize on. Oh, people are fuck ton of cigars right? So you combine those two things, and LE becomes the easy option for what you're going to do that's cool, new, hot shit.
Yep.
What's going to get people talking. You know, you got Cigar of the Month clubs. You've got all these like online Cigar of the Month, whatever, which are all great and put cigars in the hands of consumers. But I think sometimes manufacturers get caught up in the hype too, right? And so for us, we were lucky when we started. Kendrick had a great idea. You know, hey, we're going to have 8 blends in the core line. We're not going to drop everything all at once. You guys didn't even see us at our first PCA or our second PCA. You guys found us at our third PCA. Our first PCA, we had a 10 by 10 booth with a table, like what you saw last year, with 3 fucking SKUs. We had three cigars on the table. We released the Feathered Serpent the next year, the Sword and Sarah Hamlet the year after that, and then the Trumpet and the Dapper the year after that. So the way we launched the brand as marketing, as our core line, as the plan, was 8 blends over a period of time. We were only going to do 1 cigar a year. Where we got caught up in kind of like market demand and people turned on to the brand was, okay, this year instead of dropping 1 blend at PCA, let's do 2. So we did that, 2 years in a row. So I think, to speak to your point, LEs got out of control because it's the easiest way for a manufacturer to make something new and exciting and not have to commit for 5 years down the road of how they're going to keep it sustainable.
And create a sense of urgency to buy.
Yeah. You do it one time.
Yeah, Gary Brooks chimes in. Saka has his LE game down tight. He does.
Saka's got everything done.
But I haven't smoked 50% of his profile because I'm not chasing the LEs anymore. I just don't care. I can't. It just gets to the point to where, it seems like every week there's a new $300 to $400 box of cigars that are out there, and it's like you can only buy so many of them, and how much are they different than the core blends of the rest of the profile, or the portfolio, it gets to the point to where
most of the time it's a different size.
Yeah, different size. I'm like, I'm happy with the size I have now.
Like Steve will tell you, was it the Popetta is just the leftover from Umaga, right? Or no, Mi Querida.
Yeah, because
it's the leftover Mi Querida.
Yeah,
is the
something like, yeah. So it's this mixed filled cigar.
Yeah,
but you said something, Brandon, which kind of lends into what Ryan was saying. It was the what's new? What do you have that's new out there? And I think for a few years, everyone got really caught up with that whole TikTok. And Kendrick, you guys probably speak to this being a retailer, because that's what you always hear from retailers. Hey, hey, what's new? What do you got new? And you're like, well, I've been out for 3 years. I'm
100%.
fucking still new. I'm still shiny. I'm still, have just been on the box for a couple of years.
My manufacturer's warranty still
And I
applies.
think everybody kept chasing that what's new, which really kind of led to the LEs. And I also believe, this is my personal opinion, I think when we seen Brian Descend come out with the LCA and started really hammering away at these limited releases, these limited runs, exclusivos, I think a lot of people reacted to that. And I think that if things are starting to settle down now and starting to realize that, what really counts is having a good, solid core line of cigars that are going to be a mainstay and a staple in your humidor, and it's not going to be chasing these one-hit wonders that when they're here and they're gone. That's kind of my, Ryan, based on what you're saying, that's kind of my take on it, what I've seen over the last couple of years. I think, COVID had COVID had a real big influence on, a lot of new smokers. Like you said, a lot of people, it helped a lot of folks who were selling online. But something kind of came out of that where everyone was very reactive to it and to these short runs and to these limited editions. And, we're only making 1,000 of these. I think some of the bigger brands are trying to chase the boutique, of fire to make themselves seem like they're more boutique-y. And it all kind of is coming back to, well, no, I'm going to make a really good staple cigar. It's going to be in your humidor and it's going to be available.
I would agree with you, Kevin. At the same time, you saw brands like the Clowns come out of the LE world and into the shop world. So you did see a few that were exclusive in the LE side, 300 bundles, 200 bundles, that took that leap inside the shops too.
Well, you have brands like that are like, like for me, I haven't turned any corners because I like being a local brand. It's local. That's because everything that kind of revolves around my life, personal, professional life, it just lends to that. And when you have a brand like the Clowns and you start off with just like this vision of, we're just going to be in LE, we're just having fun. And when it catches on, the market's going to tell you whether or not you're going to, you need to expand or not, much like you guys.
Correct.
Correct. The market's going to tell you that. It's up to you whether you have the time, the ability, and the finances to react and respond to the market, or if you want to stay where you are. And it's taken the Clowns some time, but yeah, I mean, they definitely have progressively grown because they're responding to the market and what the market's telling them.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's like some of these brands I mentioned before. It's a very intentional short run. It's a very intentional what's new. Well, this is what's new. This is what's new, and you're always kind of cranking out something that's new. Where hell, let's get back to the basics. And I kind of feel like that's where things have settled down some. And that's one of the vibe I got from. I hate using the word vibe, but that's the vibe I got. The PCA this year is it was kind of like, let's get back to some grounded cornerstone, products that are going to be available.
Yeah, do shit on purpose.
Yeah, be intentional with things and be proactive with intent, not reactive because of what you're perceiving.
Well, and I mean, to your point, that's what's kind of nice for us. We're only 5 years old, man. So yeah, are there shops who've had us on the shelf for 5 years? For sure. But odds are, for most of the country, if you walk into a shop and you see Apostate, they could tell you it's new. What's new? Let me show you Apostate. We're still in that window, which is nice, and now we have a full catalog. We've got the core line with 8 SKUs. We've got the 8 witnesses set. That's 8 more SKUs. Now we have our first project out of Oveja Negra. There's a lot to talk about, but you could still pitch us to your smokers in your local area as a new brand. Now they might be like, well, yeah, we've heard of them, but I haven't tried them. Whereas 2 years ago, they still hadn't heard of us. Right?
Yeah,
so
right.
It's a little give and take.
Well, if I might chime in on the LE conversation for a minute, there's something to be said about, long-term consistency, picking up a cigar that is going to be the same as it was 5 years ago.
Yes,
and
sure.
that can be an incredible challenge for manufacturers, which I think some manufacturers get seduced into the LEs because they don't need to worry about that long-term.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Which is, one of the reasons why we wanted to work with Hochi. He's got his own farms. We know that the tobacco we're using is going to be from the same field, same farm, year after year, cured by the same hands, overseen by the same people year after year for that core line. Yeah, I mean that's why we get married, right? We like coming home to something that is consistent. And so having a consistent core line, I think is.
Yeah, you know, I have nothing against like LEs. Like John Huber does it great. You know, the Los Calaveras every year is essentially an LE every year, and it's just like, hey, and those are the ones I look forward to. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to try this year's Los Calaveras. You know,
but that's like, intentional though. That is a cornerstone LE.
That's
correct.
It's so, but it's not like, hey, I can't wait to try this month's Los Calaveras. You know,
right.
It's like, those are the LEs that I like, like those once a year, or, the occasional, hey, we did a cigar for like Steve did for Rockies for their 20th anniversary or whatever, 30th anniversary. It's like, oh, that's cool. New cigar, different size, I'll pick one of those up, but yeah, it's I like those. I mean, I think that's what limited edition is. It's a once a year, twice a year thing. And that's it.
It's like Christmas.
But like Kendrick said, it is nice to have those LEs to because you don't have to worry about the consistency.
Addition. I mean, the word addition implies more than one, right? Addition means an iteration of something that you're used to. So like you said with Las Calaveras, it's an addition. That's 2024, 2025. You're doing that shit on purpose once a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's an addition. Where a lot of people are throwing out an LE because it's a one-time thing and you're never going to see them do it again. That's not an addition. It's a, maybe a small batch or whatever, right?
Have you guys one of the things I've always loved about you guys is cigars, and I actually love cigar brands that do this in general. One cigar size per line. I love that, right? Because I never feel like I'm like, is this the right fucking one that they wanted me to smoke? Like, should I smoke the Robusto, the Toro, the Corona, the Lancero? Like which is their blending size? And then you realize your blending size.
Smoking? Yeah,
you don't even have your blender size out, and you're like, oh my god. So, one of the things I've loved, but in the process of LEs, you guys have a great avenue for LEs if you were to put one out as a different size for a test. Now, do you think an LE size test is an appropriate release of an LE versus an LE to release an LE? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's a valid way.
I think it's a more valid test.
Yeah,
I think a feathered serpent Lancero is really the most valid.
That's what Richard just said. Yeah, Richard in the chat was a feathered serpent Lancero, and LE is a perfect way to see if that works or not.
Well, I would be more than happy to give you a test. Kevin and I, we are offering our test subjects. I mean,
I'm not.
Me too.
Not me. I hate Lanceros. So Kerr and Ryan are two of the eight. Are two of the 8 people in the industry that consistently buys Lanceros.
I do. I have about 4 boxes of Lanceros in my humidor. I would love to say I own an Apostate box. So do we get to test these in like what, a month, 60 days, 90 days? How quickly do we want to put these out? Come on, Kendrick, let's make it happen.
My problem with that is from the retail side, when I was the buyer and the GM for Beehive, we would have all kinds of guys come in and be like, hey dude, these guys have a really great Lancero. I would love it if you guys could bring in a box. And so we'd be like, all right, cool, we got a built-in buyer, let's bring in a box of this Lancero. That motherfucker would come in and buy one Lancero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you have to take that into account. People love to. If you just wanted to try one Lancero, you should have gone online.
But that's where LEs and Lanceros. That's where LEs though. LE Lanceros, from my knowledge in the last 5-6 years of being in this industry, LE Lanceros sell. It's core Lanceros that don't.
Right.
So
You're absolutely right. Yeah, look at
next
Stockman's
month. So
Lancero
next
pack.
month,
Yeah,
are we going to get the Feathered Serpent Lancero next month?
No,
Ryan,
don't do
Billy,
it. Don't do it.
That's
Yeah,
he's like, oh, by the way, the LE Lanceros sell really well, and
Yeah, that's it.
everybody else is going. Yeah,
you got a cigar wrapper that.
But
A cigar
honestly,
wrapper that
though,
nobody buys and a size nobody buys.
Yo,
Let's put those two together.
No.
It's, you put them together,
Size.
it's like peanut butter and
Well,
chocolate.
well, wait a second. Kerr is a massive Lancero seller. Kerr builds great Lanceros. He's definitely an expert
I'm a
on this.
Lancero lover.
He's definitely
a Lancero seller is overstating.
but
There's
you're-
nobody who's
but-
a great Lancero seller.
Okay, but you're definitely an expert on the Lanceros. LE Lanceros sell. LE regular Lanceros don't. But if you create a limited edition Lancero, those do sell. Especially if you go 300 boxes of 10 count boxes. Those do. I mean, when I see them online, they genuinely do. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Lanceros lend themselves perfectly to an LE because of the size. It's a rare size that a lot of people don't smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And that instinctively lends itself to an elegant LE. Yes, I say elegant.
What helps is having a core base. I can tell you, I think I've been over to 300 shops over the last several years, and I could probably count on two hands and have a couple fingers left over that I do that were solid Lancero sellers. And no rhyme or reason to it either. It's like Ned's Cigar Shop is a Lancero and Corona side. They sell the shit out of it. And no rhyme or reason. Quartermasters in Maryland, another one off the top of my head, in the middle of nowhere, just sells the shit out of them.
I think that's consumer driven stuff. I think, speak to your limited edition thing. Perhaps the reason why Lanceros do well in limited editions is because you grab those Lancero nerds, that are itching for new Lanceros, so they're going to go out and they're going to buy the LE.
1, 2, 3,
especially if they're online, because you're not going to walk in any humidor and find a regular amount of Lancero. I just threw those 2 names off the top of my head because you go down the road to a cigar shop down the road from there. They're like, I don't fucking bring Lanceros in here. They sell. They'll sit. They're on my sale rack.
Yeah. Agree. So we're winding down the show, and I want to end with a question for everybody, because this question was posed to me last night, and I'm assuming this manufacturer was reaching out to a lot of people, maybe just members of the media, but it was Jessica and I had a really good discussion for probably about 30 minutes, and we were not in agreement of this at all. And the question was, basically the preface with boutique is a term that's being overused these days, and with that, that was the question. That was the preface of the. We can't even agree on how I'm posing.
Give us the real question.
Was this an extension of the great conversation from last night?
Give Jessica the mic.
I know how great it was.
Give Jessica.
All right. So now I need to go back and find this. God, I get
just bring Jessica. Just bring Jessica on. Smarter.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
We'll see how great that conversation was.
Yeah. That's it.
Sounds great. I'm enjoying it. Oh, she hasn't stopped talking.
All right, so let me see.
I'm just waiting to see something fly across Kevin's screen.
I'm just waiting for the message in Messenger from Jessica to say "fuck you."
Oh, okay. So here's how the messenger. I've been thinking about how we use the word boutique across cigar lines, brands, and even factories, and sometimes inconsistently across all of them. With that in mind, in 3 sentences or less, what does boutique actually mean?
Real quick, before we answer this, is this a manufacturer asking or another media person?
This is a manufacturer asking.
Okay.
Asking. Actually, it's a master blender, asking me that question. So let's start with Kendrick. What in 3 sentences for less, what does boutique mean to you?
Boutique means intentional craftsmanship as a artistic expression, if that makes sense, and also in small quantities, like smaller batches. It's tobacco nerd stuff. It's enjoying the creative process on the very base level of what it is, and you're not thinking about what the mass market, what your fans want, because you don't really have any fans yet. You're building and creating something new. So it's the creative front line of the industry.
Do you think that we have hijacked that term boutique and turned it into something that's really not, like the meaning?
I think it's possible. I mean, like, words are, have different meanings for everybody, but yep. I think there's some overuse of that word for sure.
All right. What about you, Brandon?
I think if you apply that word to cigars the way you would to any other industry, it becomes a little clearer. You have to look at it in terms of like size of production and your reach in your market. So if you're talking about a boutique bookstore, you're not walking into Barnes and Noble and saying, "Oh, this is a nice boutique bookstore." You're not going to Walmart and calling it a boutique market, right? So I think it has a lot to do with your size of operation and your reach in a particular market, and what the stakes are for you doing everything you can to be there, right? I think a boutique more is like a mom and pop than a corporation. So if a corporation is going to use the word boutique, maybe they're talking about a particular line blended by a particular guy in a small factory as a project for them. But I don't think you can call anybody who's importing more than 1 million cigars a year a boutique. I don't think it applies. But I will parrot everything Kendrick said too. It comes with a lot of intention and maybe a certain flair or a certain artistic panache, right, for what you're doing. Some guys just want to make a cigar that year. Other guys are doing it because they're in the trenches and it's what they love. And maybe that's where most people started, but it's certainly not where a lot of people are anymore. So, I've had people call Foundation boutique, and it's like they do carry a certain boutique spirit to their operation. Nick Melillo is an artist, right? But their scope and their reach, they are no longer a little corner boutique bookstore.
I'll go next, only because my response to that email was almost exactly what you said, Brandon. And it was it was. I think we have hijacked the term boutique a little bit, and I use the term 1 million cigars. Like if you have a corner shop that makes wedding dresses, if they make 1 million of them, they're not a boutique wedding dress shop anymore. If it's a local shoe that makes shoes, they make 1 million pairs a year. They're not boutique anymore. And then you talk about the corporations. If you have an HR department, you're not boutique. Period. That's no. If you have an HR department, you're not boutique. Yeah, and right. Then mine was, if you can reach out to the principal of any business on social media and get a response from that principal, they're still boutique. Anybody answering their own messages, I think you could be considered, boutique. So, but yeah, I would say that I was at that 1 million cigar mark. Man, that's a whole lot of fucking cigars, man.
It's not though. It's not though. It's really not. There's 400 million people in this country. You sold less than 1% of the population is cigar.
But it's relative to the industry, though.
But
Like you
only
said,
Right,
3%
no, I
of
get-
the population smokes cigars.
I
Yeah, exactly.
get relative to the
Was it
industry.
18 million? I think it was the last FDA.
Yeah.
18 million is
No,
what?
I
Like,
get that. I
what you
get
said about,
that.
but what you said about shoes, Kevin, like, you know, like if someone's making sneakers and they're making 1 million sneakers relative to the other folks in that market, it may still be considered boutique, if you will. But, you know, I think, you know, what you, Brandon, so we talked about this for years and what is the definition of boutique, and it's, you know, 1 million cigars or less. But I also look at boutiques in like a 3-bucket system. You may have some of these companies that are boutiques where the guy goes, I'm just going to buy cigars. I want to have my own cigar brand. I want to buy, you know, cigar A, B, and C, and put my own, you know, cigar band on it and sell it as my cigar. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's some people in the industry who thumb their nose at it, and I say, fuck you. If that's what they want to do, that's the beauty of this country. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, then you have folks that, you know, like you guys, you're working with a factory, you're working directly with the factory. They're making cigars. They have the tobacco in the fields and stuff. And then you have the guys who are the like pure boutique, where you have a small company makes 1 million less cigars. They own their, see the shelf. They own their own fields. They grow their tobacco. They ferment it. They do their own blending, and they make their own cigars. You know, and a guy like, you know, Dr. Rodriguez, for example, of GTO Cigars, you know, he's vertically integrated. You know, whether or not he sells more than 1 million cigars a year, I don't know. But if he was under 1 million cigars, that's someone who, to me, is a pure boutique, because he is there from the fields to actually going out and selling the cigars. So there are varying buckets of boutique, but I think ultimately you have to have some sort of an amount of cigars, some sort of definition of what it is. And I think 1 million cigars is a really good watermark for what makes
So
it boutique.
I put this in 3 categories, but I put this in 2 selling categories. Boutique for me is automatically under 1 million cigars a year. I would put them as a seller, a boutique. Now, there's 3 classifications in my mind of boutique mindset. And there's a legacy, there's a boutique feel or mindset, and there's boutique. I do not feel a legacy company can create a new line and call that a boutique line within the legacy. I think that is a manipulation of words, and I think that's a misclassification or misunderstanding of the definition of boutique. I think you can have somebody like Espinosa, absolutely over 1 million cigars a year, 100% has a boutique feel, meaning every cigar you smoke out of an Espinosa, you feel it was made specifically for you and your palate, and you love it. Okay. And then there's actual true boutiques, which is under 1 million. I look at actual true boutiques as the same as I do on boutique feel. They have more to prove than a legacy. They don't take their customer or their clients or customers for granted in any way, and they're constantly blending to not just keep their clientele happy, but expand their clientele within their base. And so for a boutique, for me, comes with more heart, more dedication, and a much more of a finger on their own clientele base, because it's easier to have a thumb on the understanding of your clientele when you're a smaller company. I do feel that, again, Dunbarton is a perfect example of a boutique feel, but not a boutique company. And I think oftentimes boutique is overused, oversaturated to the point where I'm beating a dead horse. No, I'm fucking boutique. And you're like, well, but you're not. So I think the legacies will never be boutique. Drew Estate can never create a cigar that is a boutique cigar. Never, ever, ever. But it doesn't mean they create a bad cigar. I do think that boutique cigar companies more often have more to prove So they put their heart and soul on the line more than others, in my opinion.
Yeah, Richard asked if I consider McAuliffe a boutique. No, I don't
Yes,
consider
no,
McAuliffe. I don't.
No, Dan has said he's capping McAuliffe at 1 million cigars a year.
No. So I look at McAuliffe in partnership with JMac. The Al McAuliffe's other business, giant corporation. So it's hard for me to wrap McAuliffe around being a boutique just because of the portfolio of the overall company.
You have your dotted line for the other companies.
But at the same time, this is the only company that Al McAuliffe has ever given his name.
Yeah.
Ever.
So,
period.
Yeah. I think we should, I think like more like cottage would be, it's a cottage company versus boutique. Because boutique
so explain cottage and boutique.
Cottage is a small company. Boutique to me, boutique to me is on the same line as artisanal. Boutique and artisanal kind of the same thing. But if you're making a couple 100,000 cigars a year, you're no longer artisanal. So are you
That's
boutique?
not true though, because artisanal also means you do the best with the supplies and what you have and the dollar you have. There's no other company that makes sub $10 cigars better than McAuliffe.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I would call them boutique because they're specifically going for the lower end market and the highest that they can produce. That is boutique.
I think once you get outside, once you get outside
is
that
it boutique or is it just niche? Yeah.
Well, I think the niche. I think once you get outside of that,
I think sub 10 is niche.
Definition.
I think sub 10 is niche.
But I think once you get outside that 1 million cigar production, I think you start looking at boutique through a subjective lens. Because you have to have some objective. You have to have some sort of objective guidelines, if you will. If you want to consider something a boutique. And I think everybody here has been talking about 1 million cigars. I think that is that. Wouldn't you consider that an objective?
I would say that's my ceiling.
Yeah, it's a very objective measure. So that's your objective measure. I think when you start talking about, like Kevin said, you can approach the brand owner. Well, you can walk up to Carlito Fuente and give him a hug, and and he'll sit there and shoot the shit with you like your long lost friend.
And he remembers you too.
Yeah,
exactly. If you message him on Facebook, is he going to respond? You know what I mean?
Yes.
But also,
maybe
it's all kind of subjective, right? I mean, really, at the end of the day, what's the impetus of whether or not the market or the industry is going to refer to you as boutique? Like, why is it a hot button? What clout or like what benefit is there for someone referring to you as boutique versus not?
I actually think there's more negatives than positives in this industry. Unfortunately, there's more negatives, which is why I hear oftentimes people like, "Oh no, we're boutique-esque, we're boutique-like." Like there are brands
when you say that. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, there are people out there. Correct. It
has more personal connotation when you say boutique. It kind of like
that's
why.
If that's what they're striving for, then that should define what boutique means.
But in that case, though, what does that mean? Like, exactly, it's subjective. That's why, like, my cap on boutique is 1 million cigars. My definition on how I personally, opinionally explain boutique is different. Just because you make over 1 million doesn't mean you're not boutique. You could have that boutique feel, but definitionally, you aren't boutique in that sense. But it doesn't mean legacies are bad or anything. But in my opinion, what it means is under 1 million cigars a year, you have more as a company to grow within yourself, to make a firm footing. Once you make that, like Perdomo started as boutique. I wouldn't call them boutique anymore. Would you?
Yeah, but I
Kev?
mean, no, but also Nick started, selling boxes out of the back of a U-Haul. We all know the
Totally.
story,
Like you
right?
move
We all know the
up.
story.
You move up.
So,
It's not a bad
but you-
thing.
That's the
It's
thing.
not a
And in
bad
10
thing.
years, if people don't refer to Apostate as boutique, I'm not going to take that as a
Yeah.
insult.
No. I would put Perdomo as a legacy cigar. Wrong, Kevin Kerr. I would put Perdomo as a legacy cigar at this point.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I
when
think-
that's
I
gone,
think-
the cigar stays.
Yeah.
It's like beauty. I think boutique is in the eye of the beholder because everybody here has been talking about. Everybody here has been talking about.
It's all subjective.
Boutique.
Yeah.
And everybody has been saying, well, it has a boutique feel. And when you start using the word feel, that's subjective. It's how it makes you
Oh,
personally feel
totally.
about it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, Espinosa is not boutique by the objective standard of a million cigars.
Correct.
But when you sit down and you meet with them, you talk and you smoke their cigar, you're like, God, this really connects with me. So it feels a little bit more of that personal connection of boutique.
I agree.
It's the same thing with Fuente too. I mean, there's Fuente cigars. It feels very personal. You share the story. There's some connection there. So that could be.
I don't feel like we. I don't feel like we really solved anything. All we really proved is how subjective it is.
But you know what though?
That is solving something, Brandon.
That
You
is
solved that as
solving it,
subjective.
That is solving it because there are people here that smoke cigars that go, I won't smoke anything over this size. And yes, I'm not a massive Rocky Patel smoker, but there are Rocky Patel there are lines of Rocky Patel I really like. I'm not a massive Drew Estate smoker, but there are lines of Drew Estate I really like. So when you have these discussions, this needs to be ironed out at some fucking time in this industry. It needs to actually have an understanding of a layout of what a boutique cigar is, because I feel like every other week, every other month, there's these discussions on these shows, mine, Kevin's, Kerr's, whoever, and they're legitimate because there's no definitional understanding of a true what a boutique is, right?
So what we really need is for either Coop or Charlie Minato
or Kendrick. Kendrick can fix it.
Kendrick's very pragmatic, absolutely. So Kendrick or Charlie Minato or Coop needs to write an article, publish it, and just define boutique. And the rest of us need to fall in line and adopt it. And
that would be scripture. That's scripture.
You're not wrong.
At this
You're
point,
not wrong.
At this point, Ryan, what you're trying to accomplish will happen right after we decide to map out peace in the Middle East. So until we get to,
So we'll see. Maybe
the right scripture, we're gonna have this discussion.
That's it. Maybe the person that sent that to me, hopefully they're at, hopefully there's dozens and dozens of people that got that same email, and maybe that person will write some kind of article, and maybe that will open the discussion for Cooper to let's define. I'm a big fan of using the word cottage. I like cottage versus boutique, but that so.
Well, I agree as cottage as the second level above boutique.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with it.
There we go.
Because if you're gonna do because if you're
introducing a whole new term, Kevin, with fucking cottage.
No.
That's
If you're gonna like I said, boutique feel, you need a word for that.
Yeah. So we start with cottage, and then we go to duplex, apartment.
There you go.
Condo,
two-story,
and then McMansion. So
you got El
semi-detached.
So you got Altadis, you got Rocky, you got General.
I like
and
Kerr.
Perdomo
I'd consider me a semi-detached garage.
I'm a semi-detached brand.
I'm the mother-in-law edition in the back.
In the back. So I mean, so how many cigars do you guys plan on roll? I mean, if that's a number you want to give out, how many cigars you guys plan on rolling in 2026?
We don't know how many. We don't know. We have no idea.
Well, can I
Okay.
ask you a question if you're willing to give
More
it?
than
What's-
last year. I don't.
What's
you know.
the most cigars you've rolled as a brand in
More
a
than
single
last
year?
Oh,
If you're willing to give it.
You know, I don't know. The most cigars we've had produced probably is going to be this year for sure.
For sure.
Our
Under
biggest
$1 million?
our biggest batch of production is sitting in the aging room right now at Tabacalera Palma, waiting for the 20 count boxes. So that's going to be this year for sure.
So let me ask you this: over under 500,000?
Oh, definitely under 500,000.
Under.
Oh, really?
All
I
right.
expected you to say over.
No, not quite. Next year. You know. Yeah.
You know, so you're not knocking on that door of that millionth cigar. You know, that's
Right?
gonna be,
No
uh,
longer
Getting
boutique.
ready to move out of that cottage.
yeah.
Yeah, look, apparently boutique is the place to be, so we want another 5 years, man. We gotta keep it up.
We've got a ways to go.
Stop buying Apostate. Fuck.
Well, Brandon, you see, here's the deal: is if you go over $1 million, you can split that in half, and then just say you have 2 cottages.
Maybe a better
There you go.
independent practice.
Okay,
We have a farm. We got a farm. I got a cottage. I got a barn.
that's it.
I've got some.
Someday you'll see the announcement that Apostate has its own factory, and then we'll talk about whether we boutique or not.
Yeah, God, yeah, you don't want that fucking hassle. You know, having,
No, we don't.
yeah. I can't even imagine what James and Angela go.
Can you
through.
imagine?
I mean,
Oh my god, dude.
10
Yeah,
years
and-
from now, Brandon and Kendrick buy out Hochi.
Absolutely. Have you seen that place? There's no way.
yeah. Oh no, that's
no
crazy. So, all right, guys, I want to thank everybody for coming on, spending a couple hours of your Wednesday night with us. And I don't think we solved anything in this conversation, but it was.
That's okay.
Brand-
That's okay.
Yeah, it is, Brandon. It's always great, you know, hanging out, chatting with you, Kendrick. You know, it's great seeing you. Hopefully, we see you out and about more often.
Yeah.
And
I'm out and about.
yeah, you need a. I feel like maybe not. I feel like I was gonna say I feel like you need a hat, but no, I don't think so. You know, I think.
Don't take my only thing, bro.
Yeah, don't take your own name.
Oh, I won't take the hat or the shades.
No, Kendrick's got the messed up hair, and Brandon's got
Yeah.
the hat.
Yeah, that's it. So, anybody else got any parting words? Kerr, Ryan.
Thank you so much, as always, for allowing me to come on. I appreciate it. Really do.
Oh, it's always
Remember,
a
there's
pleasure.
always new cigars. It's the cigar that you never smoke.
Yep. Kevin
Yeah.
and I are a boutique show, so support us.
That's it. Oh, you know, Gary does ask one last final question. Apostate TGS, Great Smoke.
Yes!
Has that been in the talks?
Gary,
Yep.
you took my question for my show.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Can confirm.
Oh.
Confirm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Ah.
You can still ask it, Ryan, because Gary want to know about Apostate. So
Yeah.
you can save the question for Apostate.
Apostate.
Okay,
You know, at TGS. So
that's their boutique name.
Gary, love
That's
you.
their boutique name.
At least he didn't say prostate. It's fine.
yeah.
Hey, prostate.
A prostate cigars.
A prostate cigar.
That's it.
Hey, it's not our fault as men that God put our G spot up our ass and called it gay. It's
Yeah.
not our fault, okay? It's not.
Yeah.
Ryan, you wanna end on a different comment?
Yeah, I know.
No,
Okay.
you know what? I
Oh,
felt like
I-
ending on the. You know what? I felt like being the Matt Booth to end the show.
Yeah. That was a very Matt Booth
I
thing.
was
he
gonna
said.
say, you've been
Yeah.
hanging with that too long.
That's it. So, all right, everybody. We'll see everybody back this coming up Monday night. We've got another I Tap That Cigar show. We've got the guys from Cigar Clowns going to be talking about their new cigars. We can't wait to chat with them. So, thanks everybody for joining in, and we'll see everybody on Monday night.